So in this video, I wanted to walk you through sort of the behind the scenes of how I have recently created a physical product. The reason that I wanted to create this video is because when I was searching for information on this, there literally was none available. Like, it was so hard to find anything. So even though this is out of my niche of personal development, I thought it'd be a good little behind the scenes of the whole process that I went through. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background, a little bit of context as to why I've created a physical product, and the product that I created is the life map. If you didn't know, I announced it in a video recently. I have that linked up here and down below. So creating stationary journals is something that I wanted to do for some time now. If you actually look back in my video history, you'll find a video of me doing a DIY skull notebook, and I talk about how I wanted to create an Etsy store. This was like years ago, and I'd bought like this big guillotine, I'd bought like a professional printer, I was gonna DIY it all from home, and then it all just sort of faded away. If I'd had the life map, that wouldn't have happened. The reason that I actually made this is because I've been thinking a lot lately about starting up a little stationary Etsy store. I was gonna call it Hustle Co, which is the most off-brand name that I can think of. So the idea of creating journals, notebooks, has been something that's been floating in my head for a long time. It's just sort of been like germinating in the back of my mind. I've talked about doing it for some time, and then it was this year that I was like, nah, this is the year I'm going to create a physical product. It's something I've wanted to do for ages. Even if it's not successful, it's something I need to tick off my list. So originally I wanted to create a planner, and then I was like, Michelle, you've never used a planner in your life. And when I say planner, I mean like a traditional planner. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And one thing that I've been doing for some time now, and it's been like a radical transforming practice, is setting 12-week goals and doing a little weekly planning session with my sister. So that's something that we've done for some time. It's been like just the #1 way to keep me on track and keep me achieving my goals. And it's just had such an impact on me that I was like, well, like, this is amazing. I get so many questions about it. I'm going to create a product that helps other people to do it as well. So the first step for creating my physical product, and this is a step that I think everyone should really go through in some way, shape or form, was validation. So my validation was pretty simple. It was just looking to see, does anything like this exist? And are those things doing well? So I will get really candid in this. Sometimes I can be really direct when I talk about business. I've been told that in meetings I can be a little scary because I get too direct. So if I seem very serious, it's just the way that I get when I talk about business. So don't mind me. So I did go out and I looked for products that were. There was the 90-Day Planner, Best Self Code, the Freedom Journal, Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner. In the YouTube space, of course, you've got Badass Babe Eileen Lavender has released her Artist of Life workbook, which has been amazing. A good validation that like a YouTuber can release a journal and it can do well. Jasmine Lipska, who I met in Melbourne, beautiful YouTuber, you should subscribe to her. Real life fairy, like you meet her and you're like, oh my gosh, you are like an angel in real life. So she's released a journal that's gone well. There's another YouTuber that released like a New Year's journal that has gone well. So I know that that concept as a whole, it's pretty solid. So my next step of creating my journal was to do a prototype. This was really important to me. One of my next guiding principles that I set was get community consultation, like get the community involved. So I actually did send out a survey. A lot of you would have done it, and it was all about like, what are your preferences for a planner? Pre this survey, I was thinking, I'm going to create an A4 or even bigger than an A4 kind of journal. It's going to be like ring binded. It's going to be like quite big. And there are a few other things that I had in my mind. Here's an image of like what I had in my head. It wouldn't look anything like that, but like the size and the functionality would be like that. And having that survey done like completely changed it. It made me decide to do A5 because that seemed to be a strong preference. Instead of wire binding, I went with just a hardcover because a lot of people said, oh, it's so annoying with the wire binding. There are a whole bunch of revelations from that survey that just completely changed the direction that I was headed into. The next big struggle that I had was, am I gonna make this a daily planner, a weekly planner, rah, rah, rah. In my head, I was like, I am going to make this a daily planner, a weekly planner, a monthly, and a quarterly. And then I actually like logically thought about it and I realized, oh, that's gonna be like 400 plus pages and not very functional for anyone involved. So then I moved it to a weekly planner because that's what me and my sister do anyway. And I know that a lot of you guys have to-do apps that you can just chuck your to-dos in. But if you do want a daily planner, that's something that I would love to do in the future. So let me know down in the comment section below. So once I had a good understanding of what the journal would actually look like, the size of of it, I created a bit of a prototype. Big moment in the planner making process. I'm about to go pick up the prototypes for my planner, literally just from Officeworks. I see this as like my first prototype. I think that there will definitely be more, but this is like absolute basic. Me and Amy are gonna start using it, see how we go. I want to try and connect with some of you guys and send it out to you and get your thoughts, your feelings. So we're doing our little goals catch up tomorrow night, which is when we usually do it. So now I can give her our little booklets and be like, test it out, see how it goes, and we can both use it together, and then we can make amendments before I go and send it out for test, because like I'd rather test it myself first before I give it to other people to test. Amy, how are you finding the dream mapping process?
Yeah, no, I'm liking it.
She's liking it. Yeah. She's thriving.
I'm actually learning what it's helping me clarify which goal is most important to me.
Haha!
I've got all 10s in one section.
Like, I remember when I was a teenager, the most exciting time of being a teenager was literally when my mum bought me my first domain name. Oh, yeah, like I remember.
I can imagine that.
So mum bought me cottoncandycloud.net and I was pumped. It was like a $15 purchase. Like, domain names are not that much, and she was just like sitting there like so happy that I was excited as well. Like, I just remember that, and I feel the same way right now is the point that I'm getting to. Just my little quick and dirty mock-up to plan this week. This is going to look so different when you get it. Like this is not a thing. After doing a whole bunch of mapping out of the contents, I got down, put the contents on paper, and I reached out to 5 of you that answered that original survey, and I was like, hey, would you like to be involved in prototyping this journal? Like, complete it for 2 weeks, complete all the start of it, see how you go, give me all of your feedback. What did you hate? What did you love? And I feel like this is such an important part of the process. Shout out to the beautiful girls that took part in that. I appreciate you so much. The original setup of the journal and the layouts are so different to what they ended up being. This is also really helpful if you do want to get some kind of testimonials like pre-launch. So the girl said a few nice things about my journal, and that was awesome because then I can chuck that on my sales page. That's really helpful. So the next step of creating my journal was actually getting it designed. So I had in my head, like, absolutely, I was going to get a graphic designer. I was not going to hand design this. I don't have the design skills. I feel like I value a graphic designer a lot. I know that they have taste. They have very well developed taste that I don't have when it comes to graphic design. Meet Talia, this is my graphic designer. So we've been talking through the little book. I've been showing her through all of the pages, and I've got a big old to-do list of things to send to her so that we can get this started.
It's gonna be amazing. It's
gonna
be epic.
And so I actually found my graphic designer on Instagram. So Talia made the book look so beautiful. I will put her Instagram down below. It's like, you don't realize how much of an impact it will make contacting a graphic designer until you get the file back and you look at it and you're like, ugh, it looks gorgeous. Like, the little changes, the spacing, it all makes a huge difference. So that was really important. So the next part of the process was to get the actual book made. So this was a really hard step of the process for me because if you guys have been watching me for a second, I have been trying to purchase more ethically. So trying to purchase either secondhand, or my thing is to make sure that I purchase from stores that are a B in the Good On You app. So this started when I watched The True Cost, which really reveals what the state of a lot of factories are overseas. And that was playing on my mind a lot. Although that whole documentary was about fashion, I was like, well, why would it be any different in any other industry? So call it paranoia, but I was just like, I can't have my book made in a factory where I'm not absolutely 1000% certain that those individuals have fair working conditions, have safe working conditions, have workers' rights, all of those things. That was playing on my mind so much. I had 2 options. I had the option to get the product printed in Australia and to get the product printed overseas. Obviously, for monetary reasons, it would make a lot more sense to get your product made overseas. It's a lot cheaper. So I was emailing manufacturers or manufacturer brokers, who are the people sort of in between you and the manufacturers, being like, hey, I'd really love a copy of your policies policies and procedures to ensure that there are safe working conditions and it's an ethical factory. I asked all of the questions that I felt that I needed to ask. And what I found was that I got a lot of vague responses. So I had one response and it was like, I'm a Buddhist monk practitioner of this many years. The only factories that I work with are totally ethical. And I was like, I love that, but like I need receipts. That was where I was left, and I decided that I was going to go with an Australian manufacturer. So I was like, there are a lot of benefits to going local. Firstly, you're going local, it's better for the environment. Secondly, easier to communicate. Also, they're close by, so you can visit should you need to. But naturally, especially in Australia, which is quite an expensive place, it's going to be more expensive to produce locally. So that was sort of where I landed, and we'll see where it goes in the future. One of my big things when I was selecting a printer was I want them to be an environmentally friendly printer. So I actually chose a carbon neutral printer, all paper FSC certified and only vegetable and soy based inks. I actually paid for a course. It's the Start and Scale course. It was the only course that I could find around like creating a product in a physical e-commerce store. So I'll have that link down below. The most helpful thing in it by far was the Facebook group attached to it, because you had a bunch of people that had experience in creating a product. So I was just constantly posting questions being like, hi, I need some help. When it comes to packaging, I'm just going to straight up tell you what my packaging is in case you want to know what the life map is packaged in terms of eco-friendliness. So it is packaged in, I think it's the Better packaging or it's the Hero packaging. So those are biodegradable, compostable bubble mailers, which is great. And I also have some sort of bubble tissue that is being wrapped around the book that is also compostable. And then I've got a little thank you card, which is a recycled thank you card. So if you're going to go with eco-friendly mailers, once again, adds to the cost of producing a book, but worth it. I know for me, I always feel guilty when I get a bunch of parcels and I know that the packaging is plastic. So when it comes to launching a product, I read the book Launch by Jeff Walker. This was a game changer for me. So I have no experience with launching. Any launch that I've done has been the announce and hope that it works kind of launch. So the Jeff Walker book really walks you through how to do a launch that isn't just a like, here you go, hope that you like it kind of launch. And that was really helpful. So I followed that full process. I think that definitely I could do it better. There are lots of things that he talks about in that book, like building anticipation. That's something I'm not good at. I just get really excited and I just want to like tell you guys what's happening. So like in my ideal world, I'd probably tell you all about it 5 months before and document the whole journey until creation, because I just really like sharing it with you and it's something I'm so excited about. So yeah, it talks about all of these like mental triggers to help with launching that you can integrate into your launch. So that is a really helpful book. I'll have that link down below. So shipping was probably my next biggest like scary decision moment. So I was like, I'm getting my product created in Australia. Most of my audience are actually in the US. How can I get the cheapest shipping for my international people? So I ended up using a service called Ship It. I mean, I haven't used it at the time of filming this video, but that's what I'm signed up to. So Ship It is a service that basically goes through all the couriers and gets the cheapest prices for your postage at the time of ordering. So that I'm hoping will make it a lot easier for me when it comes to shipping. It also like does all of the generating of invoices and all of that kind of stuff in the background, which is great. So that's kind of my behind the scenes process. Wow, my voice went very high then. That's my behind the scene process of creating the life map. This was just such a good time for me. Like I really enjoyed creating this product. There were definitely highs and lows and moments of anxiety and like, oh God, will anyone buy this? Is this gonna go terribly? Like, of course, I think that's all rolled into it and that's what you get. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into how this product was created. I was really lucky. It turned out absolutely beautifully. Originally the swatch that I got was actually like this bright, like pinkish kind of color. And I was gonna go with like gold foiling. It's completely changed since the original, which is this. So I've just gotten 2 fabric samples in the mail. The fabric selection that they have wasn't extensive by any means, but I think by pure luck, they had one fabric that I really loved the look of. It's this beautiful, like dark pink mauvey, not really mauve kind of color. And then I got this beautiful linen fabric. Like it's a dream. And I decided to go with white. So this, you can see this is actually the sample book. I'm getting the actual books on the 12th of November. So they actually printed like there's gold, there's white, that's actually silver. And then on the back, I think they've got silver as well. But you can see really clearly like from here, the white is the one that stands out the most. And I just think it's so beautiful. As soon as I saw this swatch in my room, I was like, it literally goes with my my space so much. It's so on brand, so I was really happy with it. It's gorgeous. The other big thing, sorry, I'm just rambling now, but this is just an exciting topic, was I wanted it to lay as flat as possible. The book laying flat was something that was really important to you guys when I was reading through all the feedback that I got. They sent me this, and the way that they binded it, which is like saddle stitch or something, it lays flat like so beautifully. Like, look at that. That's like towards the end of the book. It just doesn't, like, there's no resistance. You can pretty much like see the little inner bit. It's beautiful. I need to stop raving about my small child that I've just created. I'm in love with it. And also these ribbons, like perfect color. If you want to learn more about the life map, I'm gonna have a link down below where you can find out more. You can click to pre-order your copy. And if you pre-order within the first 5 days, then you will get a video guide to the book. So I'll literally have a guide with me walking you through all of the pages, being like, okay, here's some examples, here's some inspiration, here's some motivation to get you through it. And you get that for free if you purchase it within the first 5 days. After that, it will be a paid add-on that you can add to your order, but pre-order within the next 5 days and get it for free. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed learning about my journey. I know it was a bit businessy, it could be a bit boring for some of you, but hopefully someone got some value out of it if you do want to create an e-commerce store or a physical product. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you soon.